He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
It's just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
Right.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
But the TV is playing.
Woo!
Yeah, Joey.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
So
That was
this one wasn't as late as yesterday,
far.
so it hit. We made it work.
We got it.
yes.
We
It
made-
did come with some great hand gestures, though, to fill it in.
I try
Which I really liked.
to have hand gestures.
That maybe we could just add as a part of the morning part. I like it.
This is facts. This is facts. This is
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt on the Deering Acting Studio podcast. So excited to have you today. We've got an unbelievable guest today, Madison Steves,
Yeah. Woo.
the tricky last name.
Which she said is like she has to do it all the time. She's like, I just want to change it.
Well, that's why that's why you always ask. That's why you gotta know because if you look at it, it could come across as Estevez,
Right. Yeah.
and I think of Emilio Estevez. Great actor in very cool movies. But no, we've got Madison Steves here today, and she's an author, a young entrepreneur, and a woman out there who is doing some good in the world. So can't wait to get to her in our first segment today, which is entitled "Don't Disabilities."
Whoa, what a good title.
She came up with it.
I know.
I got nothing there. All right, but before we get there, Bri Guy, we're going to start off with our daily devotional.
All right, our first Bible verse is from 1 Samuel 16:7.
Whoops.
There
There you go.
The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
So we probably want to just start trying to be more like the Lord in that way,
Yeah. Start looking at people's hearts, not the way they look.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It really goes both ways too, because we're going to be talking a lot about don't judge a book by its cover. That is the title of today's episode, and to look deeper. And what I mean by it goes both ways is sometimes a person or thing that has a beautiful stereotypical exterior can be riddled with evil. And sometimes somebody who on an outward appearance would be stereotypically not good looking can be the most beautiful person or thing.
Yeah.
I've got examples. I don't even want to go there because it's evil.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is like a really good looking dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm the expert on
But he
good
was
looking
known
dudes,
for
but
that.
that's
No.
what people say. It turns out pretty bad dude.
Yeah. 100%.
You know,
Really bad dude.
like really bad guy.
Yeah.
So we just and today, when we say don't judge a book by its cover, we're really gonna be just condemning the idea of judgment in general, which I think is important. So, you got anything to add here on this Bible verse, Brian, or you just kind of floating?
No, I feel like, I mean, it's the basics of the idea of just not judging people, of like for anybody. Like we can't help it, right? Thoughts come to your mind, certain thoughts, and it's about like overpowering those thoughts. And I'm sure we'll get into some of that when we get into a section. But like,
Sure.
it's the idea of like, it might even come in your mind for a second, like a thought about somebody, and you're going to have to, we've talked about programming the other day, retrain your brain to not do that.
Retrain your brain.
Yeah.
It's got to be a new episode. Hey, Joey, what about you, man? What do you got to say about this?
What do I got to say about this? Let's see. Can you read it one more time?
Yeah. The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
The answer's not in the ceiling.
Yeah, no,
The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
The man looks at the outward appearance. Sometimes the man looks at the ceiling.
yeah. Whatever.
Looking for an answer. There's a second verse too. We could.
Well, okay. So I'll jump on here a little bit. I'll do one more thing. The other thing it makes me think of is not only us judging each other, but what about ourselves too? I think this is a great reminder that I could put on a fancy shirt, I can have the perfect hairstyle.
Oh, I see.
I could brush my hair just so perfect, just so perfect, Brian.
I could put my hair back.
You know what I mean?
Perfect, yeah.
But God doesn't see that. God sees what's underneath, and you can't hide the truth from God underneath a nice T-shirt. You know?
Yeah.
Because He knows.
He knows.
He knows you've been sleeping, you've been awake. You guys are being quiet and awkward today. All right, Brian, let's go to Bible verse number 2.
All right, Luke 6:37. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven.
Cool. And so I don't want to be judging you guys for being awkward this morning, And so I would like to, ask for forgiveness.
You're forgiven. Forgiven, sir. Done. Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
No, but this is straight up one of those sort of obvious verses, but something that we really need to stop and make sure that we're paying attention to always. And I had this... I had several conversations yesterday. Yesterday was an emotionally draining day for me until my wife came in and she helped out with the casting we got coming up and gave me some alone time with my kids. I got to fill up my bucket. I came back in last night and I just crushed. I worked an extra 5 hours last night. And it just felt really, really good. But there's this idea of when I was talking to everybody that there's I've mentioned it, but it feels like there's a spiritual battle going on, you know, and I think it's always there, but right now it just feels like it's very present, and one person in particular shared some very specific things about themselves, and I could tell based on a follow-up text that this person was potentially concerned about my thoughts on their personal stuff. And I just wrote back, I was like, I mean it when I say I don't judge. I really don't. We look for forgiveness, of course, but I don't, I know that I'm such a flawed man. I will never be the first one to stand in front of the crowd and pick up a stone and throw it at you.
Yeah.
That won't be me.
Right.
Because everybody has some kind of a history, some kind of a story where they came from. And if you don't give people the benefit of the doubt, how do you want to be treated?
Right. I love that. The he who is without sin, throw the first stone moment is one of my favorites because, you sit there and sometimes, again, we want to condemn or want to do something, but you remember, hello, think of all the things you've done wrong. And it's wouldn't you want mercy on you? Wouldn't you want that for yourself, And so it's something that we need to do, something that we have to just be aware of, and start getting better at as a entire group of people. Like, we have to get better at loving people right where they are, loving people and immediately just loving them where they are.
For real. Joey, what does the ceiling have to say to you right now? Anything?
I don't know. Let me check.
Anything good?
Can you read it again?
Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven.
No.
Not yes. It's a no, yes.
Forgiveness is key. Yeah. That's what the ceiling said.
Forgiveness is key.
Forgiveness
Yeah.
is key.
This is your big add-on here.
Yeah, it's written
His
right
ceiling
on the air duct.
takes it and just puts it into a smaller phrase.
Forgiveness
Small.
is key.
I really like that. Like a small little.
Yeah, it's like
adaptation.
a compactor. You
Yeah.
know, you just take the big information and you smush it down.
You smush it down. Well,
Yeah.
we talked about this yesterday, Joey. Actually, if you remember, we had a little, tiff.
Mm-hmm.
Little.
I thought you were going to use the word tiff. I'm like, is he going to say
I
the
knew
word
he was
tiff?
gonna do
He's
it.
going to say
Well,
tiff.
Joey used it yesterday, so I'm copying Joey.
It's a tiff.
Little lovers battle, because we love each other. And I was telling him, just a reminder of this is my point of view anyway. I feel like when something's awkward right away, and you're involved, you can make the choice to just come in and go, hey, so I don't know, it seems like things are weird. So sorry if I offended you. Anything I can do, but just like come in with, I'm sorry. Start there. Assume it's partly your fault. Just assume that. And then find your way to truth. And it says right here, forgiven you will be forgiven. It's one of the reasons that I open with that all the time. I try to acknowledge when I'm being tense. I try to find where it's coming from really. I try to admit to somebody where it came from and then ask for forgiveness and be like, hey, just so you know, it wasn't about you. And I understand I was, harsh or whatever, this or that. So then, and then truthfully, my weakness then is because I do that quite a bit. When other people don't do it, then I get frustrated because I'm like, it's so easy. Why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well, you got more work to do, pal. You got more work to do, buddy.
Bud. I was trying to find
There's a lot of
one.
staring at me today. I feel like you're a little nervous because we got a guest on.
No.
Are you nervous, Bri? Because she's
No.
like a big deal.
No, but she is a big deal.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like the nerves are kind of welling up. Are Brian's cheeks getting red, Joey?
So many nerves.
Zoom in on the cheek. I think.
So many nerves. Can you see them? Can you see the nerves?
All right, here we go. So, being a good person, you want to be able to look for the good in others. You want to choose to look for the good. You can always find something good in somebody. If you really want to, you'll find the good. Everybody has good inside of them. And so if you decide to look for that thing and focus on that thing, you can lift somebody up and you can help take them out of any kind of negative state. But if you focus on what's negative, you're going to end up receiving negative back onto you. I believe that to be true. I think that we've talked about this before, but that's a lot of the curse that's happening right now with social media, politics, etc. is a lot of just like blame game, finger pointing, negativity, rather than looking for the good. Like, what good have you done? Let's focus on that. Let's talk about that. What else I want to talk about here? Oh yeah. So then lastly, before I sort of outline the show here, is just not to be deceived by appearances, because it's so easy to become deceived by the appearance of something or the lack of appearance of something, and if we're not careful, we put our stake in people. We put our faith in people, and that's a huge mistake, because you're always going to be disappointed. Always. People are people. They're imperfect. So, all right, we got a great show today. First up, in our first segment, we are going to be talking to Madison Steves.
Woo!
Who's here. She's going to be here right after the commercial break. And then we're going to jump into segment number 2, which is Judge as You Wish to Be Judged. And then we're going to end off with our quick takeaway, which is going to be Choose to Make a Difference. So, Joey, do we have Madison on there? Can we have her wave at everybody?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Not bad.
Is that a thing?
Until she's ready,
Is that a thing we can do, or
Yeah,
we're just going to keep
she
staring
can
at
wave
me?
right.
1. Get out there. Chapter 2. Chapter 1. Get out there. Chapter 2. Get organized. Chapter 3. Build your team. Chapter 4. Brand yourself. Chapter 5. Be a producer. Chapter 6. Run the business. Chapter 7. Be a great actor.
Let's dive right into auditioning, because I know that was the thumbnail specifically, and I'm fascinated to talk to you about this because we do casting.
Right.
I've been competing against you since I started acting, and then I made some transitions and whatnot, and you're one of the best auditioners I've ever seen ever.
Wow, that means a lot. Thanks. That's
For real.
That's really nice to know, because you know how it is in auditioning. We get no feedback.
None.
When you audition.
Yeah.
You just throw the ball out there and you hope that somebody will catch it. Is that a good metaphor? Yeah.
I feel like you're good when you have somebody come into the casting room and then the casting director's like, hey, so if you could just do what the guy before you did. And that's happened like 4 times when you come in, where you'll do some creative move and then the next person will go in and they'll be like, when they get to direction, they'll be like, what if you just did what he just did?
Yeah, well, you do it enough, like you just thank you. I appreciate it.
We have to have a solid memory in order to put up a play. That was 100% the right choice. The moment you realize you're stuck for a sec, stop and literally take a breath. You have to react to that from his point of view as honestly as possible. 1, 2, 3.
I tried to explain.
I don't want you to think about getting through the monologue. Yes.
Let's go!
Because my job isn't to work the monologue. My job is to work on you. It's not about how many classes are on the resume. It's about your work ethic and persistence. Who's further along than they were when they walked in the room? We want the world to hear this. We want this to get out. This is why we do what we do.
That felt like the most honest thing I've ever done as an actress.
It was like entering like a new world.
It was like draining and exhausting you, but in a good way, you know?
It just feels so good to just feel the growth, the true growth all the way around.
We made a lot of discoveries. Yeah. Like lots of discoveries.
I feel like you give me permission as a coach to go all the way.
I just know what we do. It makes me so proud. And so like I want to make sure everything's perfect.
My hope is that this class opens everybody up as a person and you become a better actor in the process.
We are back.
Hey! Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We are so excited to have on the show Miss Madison Steves. Brian, can you go ahead and give me a little bio on Madison?
Boom. So Madison is awesome. I've known Madison for a while. She started a foundation called Don't Disabilities.
You've known Madison for a while? How do you know each other?
Way back when we did like Miss Arizona, I think was where like first time.
Is she a Miss Arizona?
She was like one of like way back when, yeah. And so like just in the whole mix, I think was the first interaction. And then after that, we just like kept connecting, and then I obviously had deep passion for disability stuff
and Miss America stuff.
Yeah,
like way back when, guys.
I've got a deep passion for disabilities and beautiful, pageant girls.
Yeah, so that was like first year. But yeah, so she started that foundation, Don't Disabilities, which is just this awesome nonprofit that's basically bringing light to the idea of what we're talking about today, to not judging a book by its cover. And I've seen she hosts events for the disability community.
You mentioned her a long time ago to me. Now that I'm remembering.
Yeah.
I didn't put two and two together till now. That's very cool.
We were gonna do something, and it didn't end up working out because, just honestly, I didn't get all the planning that needed to happen. But we were gonna do like a show. I know we still should.
You have the sound effects. Why?
I don't think I have that. I don't think I have that one.
You do.
I do.
I'm pretty sure
somewhere on there.
It doesn't matter.
Not anymore.
It don't matter.
It's gone now, Joe.
Oh, did you say steak?
So she's very active, is my point, in the disability community. She's been a spokesmodel. She runs charity events, and sometimes just goes and attends different events. And she's been doing that for like 12
She goes
years.
to events? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's really good to go to events. But
all right, I think that's a great intro. Good job, Brian. I'm gonna give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Madison Steves. Hello, Madison.
Hey, how are you guys?
Happy to be alive. How are you doing?
Same here. I am, in fact, related to Emilio Estevez. Just had to.
You are related? Are you related? Very, very cool. He's
original.
Yeah.
I've heard that one all of my life.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. So you're an author. I want to talk about that. You've written a couple books now, right?
Just one. So I have a children's book called Boy on a Swing, and it is about the first person I met in 6th grade who had a disability. And I was just running around the playground, and he was sitting by himself on a swing, and I felt bad, and I didn't know why someone would be all alone on the playground. So I went and ran up to him and then brought all my friends over, and we all started swinging and became friends. So I made a book about it to help kids understand what it means to be accepting.
And
Wow.
you go to other schools and talk about that too, right? You like read the book?
Yep. So I go into schools and I sit down with them and we read the book and we talk about bullies, we talk about acceptance, and then I kind of give them an opportunity to raise their hand and tell their story, whether it's I'm being bullied by this person or I did this to include that person, and that gives the teacher kind of an opportunity to hear what's going on, because sometimes these kids are too nervous to go tell their parents or tell their teacher what's really going on in school or on the playground. So it's a really good thing, and it's worked out really well for me, aside from COVID. It kind of stopped everything, but I love it.
Sure. Do you have that book with you?
I don't. Oh, let me see. I think so. My clean room everywhere. Oh, I do. Okay. So this is my book.
How cool.
Super cute little pictures and illustrations, and then it comes with an activity book. So it's just, I can be a friend when this, and I can say sorry when this, and
that's so neat.
Things.
So
Yeah.
Who did the illustrations for you?
Her name is Jennifer Novak Landers, and she actually put the whole book together for me. So I jumped right into it, and I kind of let her do everything. I was like, here's what I want. Take it away.
Yeah. Wow, that's wonderful. So, so what's that feel like to be an author?
It's really exciting. Sometimes I kind of forget how I tell people and they're like, wait, you have a book? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of no big deal. I don't know why. I'm very proud of myself, of course, but to me, it was just another way to get into schools and to reach more people. And then every book purchase goes to the nonprofit. So it's another form of raising funds to go. And then our next thing is trying to raise funds so I can leave these books at schools with each kiddo so they can draw in it and they can read it and take it home.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So for our audience, how do we support your nonprofit? How do we donate to?
www.don'tdisabilities.com. It's all on there. Or if you go on to Instagram, Don't Disabilities, it's all in the little link tree up there.
Okay, so www.don'tdisabilities.com. We can go there and donate. What a wonderful cause this is. I've got a couple quotes here for this section. I like this one by Dick Van Dyke. Says, "We should never judge a day by its weather."
Yeah.
That's like funny and profound.
100p.
Funny and profound, yeah. Especially right now with all the rain.
Yeah. You know what? I felt that this morning because I had to ride my bike here.
There was ice
I
on the
got
car?
to ride my bike here because there was ice on the windshield of my car and it wouldn't come up. And I was like,
Well, and you live so close. It's like by the time the ice is melted, you'd be
yeah, exactly. But in the moment, like I needed to get here. Like we got a guess. Like I was already like 10 minutes behind what I wanted to be, and so I was like, geez. And then I was like, I went back in the house and I was like, fine, I'll ride my bike. And I was like, it's cold, but it's not that bad. It was beautiful.
Well, and then again, if you can just change your mindset. This is the idea. Don't judge a day by its weather. You just change your mindset about the cold. And you're like, like you said, I get to ride my bike. There are the top performers in the world who take these like cryogenic baths in like freezing water, who would like swim in the ocean in the morning when it's sub temperature degrees outside, and people often want to judge. People often want to be like, well, if I was so rich, I'd jump in the cold ocean too. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, no, you wouldn't. Don't lie.
Well, it goes into accepting mindset, right? So there's this one meme thing that I saw, like a picture once that had somebody in like a really nice car, like a super nice car. And then somebody under that had a regular one, and it was like, oh, you have that car. And then somebody else is at a bus stop, and it's like, oh, you have that. And then somebody else is like on a bike, and they're like, you have a bike, and like just breaks it all the way down to somebody who just like can't even walk,
Yeah, they're like, and you're like, you got toes? Dang.
Like, right,
awesome, man.
Love toes.
Wish I had a pair of those.
I would love a pair of toes. If anybody's got any.
What do you think, Madison? Don't judge a day by its weather.
Yeah, I actually just read that yesterday, so that's so funny that you brought it up. I think it's very true it's totally such a mindset. Listening to everything you guys have been talking about, you have to train your brain to live in the moment and enjoy everything for what it is. So yesterday I was about to go to a workout, but I went outside and I was like, oh, it's gloomy. Maybe I should just skip this one. I'll go tomorrow. But then I was like, no, you're going. You already signed up. If you don't go, you lose $15. So definitely like that. And just being grateful for every moment and enjoying what we have. I truly think we're spiritual beings and a human experience. So it's raining and tomorrow it's sunny and we have the opportunity to meet new people. And now I'm on, this show. It's just, there's so many cool things that we get to do all the time.
Yeah. We've got a lot of abilities and we should not diss our abilities. That's what I always say. All right, good.
Yeah.
That's what I always say as of this morning.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Okay. As of 20 minutes ago, that's Matt's saying.
I've got another quote for this segment here. This is from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He says, "Judging others makes us blind, whereas love is illuminating." Interesting. We talk a lot about the bringing dark to light, turning on the light switch. And I just mentioned this as far as like, look to find the good, right? So when you judge, what is it saying? When you judge, you're blind. If I judge you, I'm not trying to find more things.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm internally going, this is what you are, this is what, and I'm making assumptions about you instead of getting curious. Because I think when you get curious about somebody, especially, let's just say there's somebody with a disability, so that there's like an outward, difference about somebody. Or there's somebody who, is being rude, or somebody who's, outwardly kind of acting out. We talk about this a lot in the kids' classes. It's a cry for help. There's something deep inside there. And if they're acting out, you can weirdly say thank you for the cold. You can say thank you for the that I get to be the one that you're taking it out on, because you must see something in me to reach out and ask for help from me.
Yeah.
And like what a nice way to flip to change our mindset on that.
Totally. And like when it comes to the person doing it too, like you said, there's so much, they've got so much going on. They've got their own pain and their own struggles, and maybe they do one thing to you, right? Maybe they act a certain way, and sometimes it's just an assumption you make about what they said. And then you cling to that one thing, and everything else just disappears.
Yeah.
Any opportunity to get to know somebody further and see what's going on. And that's where the real, I think, magic happens. That's where the faith and the power, where God like really uses you to make a difference, is when you get past that one thing, because most people don't, Well, and we're about to spend an entire quarter of our program on this concept, because the idea behind the Meisner, the listening, and the dramatic acting we're going to be diving into here at the studio is all about don't judge a word by the word. Yeah.
It's what's under the word that matters.
Absolutely.
Which is super interesting.
You gotta understand the underword. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I did that one on purpose.
Joey's our comedic relief over here.
Yeah, I knew it was terrible. I had to do it anyway.
Madison, what do you think about this concept? Judging others makes us blind, whereas love is illuminating.
Well, you guys are so funny. The underword.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
True. I mean, you think that because someone is wearing Gucci shoes or like driving the Mercedes, they're like, oh, they must be so happy. That was me. I'm not talking about myself. 4 years ago, I was, and Brian mentioned it, I was Miss Arizona. So I was getting up and ready. I had to be on every single day. I had to be in clothes. I was public speaking. It was just go, 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 dressed up. And now it's funny because like this sweatsuit, this is me. My hair just natural. This is me. And it's, no one ever really got to know that side of me, but they judged me saying, like, thinking my life was so perfect, as if I didn't have flaws or as if I didn't go through anything. So I was talking to a friend yesterday about the show and what I was doing, and he was like, oh, well, make sure you don't cuss, and what are you going to wear, and all these things. And I was like, well, we have created so many different programs of you need to do this in order to be successful. You need to wear this in order to be successful. If you're not making millions and millions every single day, you're poor. Just a bunch of different things. So you can't ever judge people by the way they look or by what's going on, because usually you don't really know unless they're like your bestie or your wife or whatever. You really don't know. And so that's something I've had to work on, is when I talk to someone now, it's like, do you want my opinion, or can I give you what's going on in my head, or can I ask you my question, or tell me more? Just get to know them so I understand what tones they use, how they act, what they're doing with their life. So it's a complicated task, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So you look so young. Are you super young? Well, how old are you?
I guess I'm 26.
26. Yeah. I mean, this is great. You've accomplished a lot. You're doing a lot. It looks like you've got your head in the right space, which is very, very awesome. And you've got some entrepreneurial ambitions, I believe, too, right? Do you have any questions for us as we wrap up this segment here?
Oh man, no. Well, I guess I enjoy seeing all of this. This is the first kind of show I've done where you have all of the lights, the cameras, the action type thing. What fired you guys up to do all of this?
Coronavirus.
COVID. No, for real.
That works.
For real, and not the usual like, oh, we have to do a quick transition to get to video. but it kind of just came because we were figuring out all that for our classes, and then something came to me. We've always wanted to do shows and stuff like that, and there was so much hurt, so much pain, so many people struggling with being stuck at home, especially at the beginning of this. And I came to Matt and was like, let's do a show. And then we started it, and it was absolutely terrifying. And Matt will talk about that. He was super scared. The first episode was like, are we rolling? Are we actually live? Like, we had no idea. And then there were like months of just figuring out chords and moving things around, coming in crazy early, Joey and Matt specifically, not me, to move chords around and fix stuff on the tech end.
In fact, you were judging the chords.
I was judging the chords.
You were judging the chord by its cover.
I felt really exposed because of how hard he was judging the chords. Yeah.
So and I remember we, just like everybody else, coronavirus hit. We don't know what's gonna go on. We're being forced into doing things that don't really make sense. Our hands are tied. Mm-hmm. We can acknowledge that there was a little bit of fear involved, and there's a lot of fear out in the world going on. We had 40%, 50% of our business was just cut off overnight, just like gone. And so we sat down, had a team meeting, and I kind of prayed about it, and I said, all right, here's the plan. Here's the Deering Acting Studio COVID plan. We're going to double down on our giving. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to do. This is going to be our our economic recovery plan is we're going to give. We're going to give away stuff. We're going to give away money. We're going to give away products. We're going to give away information. And then, yes, Brian came up with this idea for the show based off of that team meeting. Mm-hmm. And he was so right. It was just one of these things that we kind of got going with it to help people out. It became a habit to get up every morning and do it. And then next thing you know, I don't know, how many episodes are we in now?
Well, this is season 2.
We're in like 200. 200 something.
Episode 13.
Joey, how many?
200 something. It's,
we got a lot of episodes.
Yeah. Well, we started in March.
and it's the rotary girder.
And wait, guys, I've never looked at the right side of the ceiling. I feel like maybe that'll.
So, Madison, let me ask you, do you have some entrepreneurial ambitions?
I do. Obviously this nonprofit is my first major one, and I just jumped into it. I didn't have a business plan, but I'm starting to find out what gets me excited when it comes to these things. And obviously COVID took a big toll on us too. We can't do events. A lot of my friends with disabilities can't leave their home because their immune system is lower. But in the long run, I want a ranch that has animals, where we grow vegetables, where all of my friends with and without disabilities can come and hang out and have a safe place. So I'd like that. I am getting my real estate license, so eventually I would like to, I'm not sure I want to sell homes, but I would like to flip homes and get into commercial real estate. My father is a commercial real estate investor. And a couple more books would be cool. I'm now in my spiritual awakening, so that's a whole new world for me. But I'm just taking it day by day and seeing what comes out. So
very briefly then, before we wrap here, talk to me about this spiritual awakening. I'm curious about that.
Oh my gosh. It's definitely, people are like, oh, your spiritual awakening, but it's more like this. It's like a roller coaster in a very great way. It's like a fun roller coaster, but at the end, some days you want to throw up. I'm learning a lot about myself, my traumas. I'm learning how to deal with people and different personalities. I'm learning meditation. And the cool part, going back to everything we talked about today, is learning that you can read 3 meditation books, but those are all other people's perspectives and their ideas in those books. So that's what I love about books, is that you can read all day long and you get to learn someone else's perspective or personality or whatever. So it's a lot right now. It started because of COVID, so a lot of things started because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But just trying to live in the moment and not get so wrapped up chasing after money, looking for the love of my life or whatever it is, but just being here and enjoying the little things that we have on every single corner of this world. Whatever you want. If you want to go to an acting studio, you can go to an acting studio. If I want to go jump out of a plane, I can drive 45 minutes to go jump out of a plane. So it's good. It's rough, but it's good.
Well, awesome. Well, congratulations on your awakening. I think that's very important. We do believe in that, and we stress that, and our take on it is to approach spirituality with curiosity, with openness, curiosity, and this is a great time to turn away from the world, to turn away from things and stuff, and go inward and find your way back to source, find your way back to the God that did create us, because that's where the only true happiness and goodness lies. So, Madison, it's so awesome to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Best of luck with your book, Don't Disabilities. Everybody, you can go to and support this organization at www.don'tdisabilities.com. And when we get back, we're going to jump into our second segment today, which is Judge as You Wish to Be Judged. We'll be right back.
A couple minutes of your time, I got a few things I'd like to talk to you about.
It was a way for us to get more comfortable listening to each other.
We're going to go back and be more confident than ever.
We teach self-development, and we use acting to do that.
Did you always have a performer inside you?
It was something that I knew I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I knew this was my thing.
You stress that in that book, that you have to have a plan every day and follow that plan. It's strikingly similar to the same things we talked about in business.
We had a really good time. The staff is amazing. We had some great group activities, learned a lot about ourselves individually, so highly recommend coming here.
Nothing I'm going to tell you is going to be revolutionary, because it's just the truth. Anybody who speaks the truth, period. Because the plane's taking off every day. That's what I've decided. The plane of success is taking off, and I don't want to miss my flight.
I was going to talk about how I have used improv in engineering and in my work. What I learned from you is get out of your head. This class and the studio has made such a huge positive impact on my life, and I cannot thank you enough.
We're trying to help you work on you.
So today at Jaren Studios, you're gonna learn how to be confident, how to have a voice, and use your voice.
What I love most about Jada coming to this place and being able to be a part of this family is that it just makes her more comfortable in her skin.
are back. Matt is hanging out with our man Neville. He is the building manager over here.
You gotta come show your face. Come on, man.
Come show your
Don't
face,
make us
Neville.
look crazy.
Yes, we are here with Neville, the multi-dimensional, super talented.
There he is. Oh man.
There we go. Go stand next to Joey there so we can see your face.
Hey, Joey's trying to elbow you.
There we go. Oh yeah.
We get to see his elbow.
We only see your elbow. You gotta bring your face down.
See there.
Right
Squeeze in over next to Joey there.
What's up, Joey?
The mask is blue.
It works.
Oh man.
I've got a great photo actually of Neville in my phone.
I would. Yeah.
You know to put it up.
I wouldn't show it on.
Love this
on
guy.
Here. It's okay.
All right, so this segment here is called Judge as You Wish to Be Judged. I'm going to start off here with a couple quotes. This one here is by Stephen Covey. Big fan of Stephen Covey. He says, "We judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their actions." What do you think about that?
We judge ourselves by our intentions.
It's like a riddle, I
others
feel
by
like.
their- Yeah. Man. So is this saying that basically we judge ourselves more than we judge others? Like Basically we put more of a parameter on ourselves and are harder on ourselves, maybe?
Probably. Or if we're honest about us, right? We know the underneath of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we judge ourselves by the intention. We judge others by the action.
Got it. Okay,
right?
so kind of reverse, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like, in other words, we're very quick to want to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, but we're very quick to judge others.
Yes. Okay.
For
Dang.
for their actions. Yeah. Can you grab the iPad there, Brian, so we can flip back and forth?
Sure.
All right. Good. So we judge ourselves by our intentions. We judge others by their actions. So in other words, like, if somebody does something, says something, whatever, how many times are we like, well, I didn't intend that. That wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but you said it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I intended. But So we want to get underneath, and instead of judging the action. Instead of judging the words, instead of judging the whatever, we want to go down into the intentions.
And I guess that goes into, you talk about this a lot, but like assuming the best in people.
Yeah.
Right? Automatically, like even if something comes out, let's say it's rude or mean or whatever, like assume that there's something going on, or assume the best. Absolutely assume the best, because we would want people to do that for us.
All right, I'm going to go after Joey here because he said I could, and we talked about this yesterday. So the idea here of just a second ago, for real, Joey got mad that we didn't hear him say something. And he was like, but but I said it. How do you not hear me? And like, and to expect the best in somebody is like, did we purposefully not hear you? Like, were we trying to like make you mad? Were we trying to ignore? Like, no. I mean, there's a lot going on around here. There's music in the ears or something else. Perhaps you said it quietly. Perhaps you just thought it. I mean, who knows? But instead of getting mad, like, what's the intention? Like, if I ask you a question that you've already said, my intention is to just get the information because I actually wanted to say something, but instead I got attacked for, as if I was like coming at you or whatever. And that wasn't the case. So this just goes back to, like you said, wanting to see the best in somebody, assuming the best. I don't assume you're coming after me. I don't assume you have, my worst interest at heart. Now, of course, this has backfired on me for sure. Sometimes I've assumed the best in people that didn't deserve it.
Sure. Yeah.
And unfortunately that can be very painful, but I'd rather live in that space.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather live in the space of every now and then, kind of get run over by somebody rather than always being on the defensive and feeling like everybody's against me kind of thing,
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, and then when you do that, and we've talked about this, but when you do that, then you know where you are.
Yeah.
You know your heart. Because at the end of the day, and going into judgment and this whole idea of not judging people, we have control over our aspect. That's it. We have control over the way we treat the people around us, the people that we come in contact with, and not judging that's on us. The way other people judge us, the way that they even accept our love, the love that and we talked about love earlier, sending out love, the way that they accept that's on them. But us sending it, that's on us.
Sure.
That's at the end, no matter who it is. And you hear these crazy stories about like even people who've like had their family murdered and they're somebody in prison, you know, and then they go and they forgive that person. And it's insane. Like I remember when I first heard that, I can't remember, it was a case a while back, and I was just like, how? Like that's insane to me. And I know that's like a big topic to talk about. But this idea
Murder.
of that, right? Yeah, and death row and all that. Like, but this idea of somebody going there and saying, "I forgive you," like, there's no power like that. I mean, somebody on the opposite end is like, "Why? I don't understand." And there's just like, we have so much power when we do those things that are so anti what everyone expects.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And Joey, if I can come back to you here for 1 second. So even just a second ago, right? I mentioned that you got mad. Right.
Yeah.
Let me see the dimples. Come on.
There they are.
You gotta put yourself on the
Go
screen.
ahead.
Okay.
Where'd they go?
Now, having said that, let me just very quickly reverse it. And here's the textbook of what I'm talking about, okay? Because I'm willing to do this, and I want the world to be willing to do what I'm about to do, okay? So you got mad at me, and then you got defensive because Brian was like, I didn't hear you either, and then you're like, wah! Right? And it almost became a thing. It didn't have to, but it almost did. Okay. So we'll take that, and those are facts. We'll just start there. All right. Now I'm going to say, truthfully, I get annoyed when people aren't listening to me. I get annoyed when I'm like, really? Like you weren't listening? It's offensive. It's something that can be painful. So I can tell you that I understand where you're coming from. That's something that makes sense to me. And I can say, I'm sorry for not hearing you. It wasn't on purpose, but I don't know why or how you said it or whatever. I don't really know the circumstances because I didn't hear you. Okay. However, if I wasn't present, if I wasn't completely here and in the room, and I missed that, and you felt like wow, people aren't paying attention to me, that could be painful. So I apologize for that thing, and we can move forward from there. Hopefully you'll accept my apology.
I'll double down on that, sorry, because I missed it as well. Just
100p. 100p. And I'm sorry for being upset about...
Joey said sorry! Oh my gosh, wow. You guys,
sorry
that was so... Oh yeah, all the time. It's crazy how many times Joey says sorry. It's unbelievable.
I said it like 4 times.
It's unbelievable how many times Joey says sorry. Once all of one time.
No, I said like 4 times yesterday. 4 times. That's a lot of times.
We need to put the words "I'm sorry" on the roof. That way Joey can find it anytime he needs it. It's like, oh, there it is.
No, they don't belong up there. The roof is just for
deep thought.
Deep thought.
But
answers.
So if I go back to let's just say, okay, any conflict that comes up, right? So let's just pretend that this was a mini little conflict. Could have been a conflict. It wasn't, but could have been. It's a nice example anyway. I look at the situation, and if I'm smart, I can take myself out of it for a second and look at it third party, and I can say, do you want to be the one to cast the first stone? Even though Joey cast the first stone, I believe at me. Do I want to cast the first stone back at him? And I want to look at it and go, well, do you ever get frustrated when people don't listen? Well, yeah, you do. You sure you want to cast the first stone? No, I don't. You know? And it's just like that. You can just immediately flip it and immediately go, okay, how do I get behind Joey's eyes? Instead of like, because I wanted him to get behind my eyes, but how do I get behind his eyes? And by doing that, it's like, okay, where's it probably coming from? And that's where you go, best of intentions. It's probably not coming from someplace negative. It's probably coming from like, yeah, well, people want to be heard. They need to be heard. It's important to be heard. And so there's that idea of, you know, okay, it probably come from a place of hurt. Well, is your pride worth, you know, this or that? Of course not. So you just deal with it. You fix it. Boom.
It really helps when you imagine a real stone. I just did that. Like if there's a literal,
or like a bowl.
like a
like a bowl like this.
Do I really
like,
want to throw
this? Is like
this?
a heavy, like, right? Like,
yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Like, so words hurt. Going into judgment. And that's where my brain actually just went. Kind of. I know it's weird, but
no, they do. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Well, that's that.
But sometimes
wrong.
they do.
They do.
If I let them hurt me. All right, so we talked about this, looking for the good in a person. You're bound to find it. We talked about that already. And then the last thing I want to say is, even with yourself, and this is like the God perspective, don't judge you.
Yeah.
Don't judge you by your cover. You know? So I may look in the mirror and I may see like a pimple. Or I may see that, you know, I put on a couple pounds, or I may see this, and I want to just judge that. I want to judge me by my cover. Instead, I got to go to the inside, and I got to work on the inside and understand that the outside is a reflection of the inside. But people don't see us the way we see ourselves in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
People, you know, that when they get to know you, you're you to them.
Yeah.
And they love you.
Right.
And so as you try to change you, it actually weirdly becomes unattractive to the people that love you the most.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Facts.
All
right, that is the end of our segment here, Judge As You Wish to Be Judged. We're going to come back for our quick takeaway right after these messages. It's going to be choose to make a difference. How to make the choice to do that. We'll be right back.
1. Get out there. Chapter 2. Get organized. Chapter 3. Build your team. Chapter 4. Brand yourself. Chapter 5. Be a producer. Chapter 6. Run the business. Chapter 7. Be a great actor.
Let's dive right into auditioning, because I know that was the thumbnail specifically, and I'm fascinated to talk to you about this because we do casting. Right. I've been competing against you since I started acting, and then you know, I made some transitions and whatnot, and you're one of the best auditioners I've ever seen ever.
Wow, that means a lot. Thanks. That's really nice to know, because you know how it is in auditioning. We get no feedback.
None.
When you audition.
Yeah.
You just throw the ball out there and you hope that somebody will catch it. Is that a good metaphor? Yeah.
I feel like you know you're good when you have somebody come into the casting room, and then the casting director's like, hey, so if you could just do what the guy before you did. And that's happened like 4 times when you come in, where you'll do some creative move, and then the next person will go in and they'll be like, when they get to direction, they'll be like, yeah, what if you just did what he just did?
Yeah, well, you know, you do it enough, like you just yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
We have to have a solid memory in order to put up a play.
That was 100% the right choice.
The moment you realize you're stuck for a sec, stop and literally take a breath.
You have to react to that from his point of view as honestly as possible.
1, 2, 3.
have to explain. I don't want you to think about getting through the monologue.
Yes.
Let's go!
Now we are,
Yeah,
I was waiting for a good like cut point, to be honest with you.
I never know. So like when I heard the video go off in my earphones, I'm like, I think I'm live, but I don't know if I'm live.
No. So I shut off because otherwise, if I turn it on, then you hear that.
You hear you in the background of you.
So I have to shut it off at the tail end of the commercial. That's why I count
So we
down
need
at
hand
the
signals.
end. Well, I just count down.
I'm not really down for the hand.
Oh yeah, but you didn't this time.
8, 7.
But you didn't this time.
Yeah, correct.
So how am I gonna know?
I said we're live.
Hand signals are tough for me. So
of course, I mean
Joey is gonna get into a fight with me again.
What?
Immediately. It's gonna happen.
About the hand signals?
Yeah, because I was like, but you didn't this time, and he's like, but I did. But I said, you know what I mean? And I'm like, we just need to. I just need to know when we're live again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
100p.
saying.
Maybe we get one of those signs.
Here's the thing: don't judge a book by its cover.
I said it.
Guys, choose to make a difference. Segment
No,
3.
what did you say? You said we're live after we were live. But what I'm saying is, we need the countdown. We
I
need the
physically said it as I hit the button to turn you live.
right.
Oh, and it was just quiet.
But
It's the
for
commercial
4 seconds
playing.
before that, there's a silence in my ear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I need to know the difference between the silence and the live. I need to know about those 4 seconds.
Which is which?
That's where you go, hey, we're not live yet, now live. But otherwise, because he thought the same thing.
I thought that we were live.
When the sound goes off from the video, it's like, oh, we must be live.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit this too early, or this too early,
Thanks for listening.
or this too early.
I say we get one of those signs. That's what I said. The red
And
ones.
it's never too early to play Astrid's intro.
This is Mornings with Matt.
Hey, hi Astrid.
I'm having fun with these sound effects here.
So anyway, one of those signs would be great. Choose to make a difference.
Just a sound, People need sounds. Sounds are good. Where's I'm looking for another little something here. Can't find it though.
Can I read one of your quotes?
Maybe it's this.
Did you say steak?
That's what he was looking
It's
for.
not labeled right. It just says sound 3. So I was like,
Dakota, you are sound 3.
I just had to differentiate that. And that's not a dig on you, by the way.
What?
That it doesn't say that it says sound 3. Just so you know. That's not a dig on you. I'm not saying that. He doesn't believe me. Look at the ceiling. It'll tell you. Just say sorry. It's right there. It says, I'm sorry right up there. Just say it. It's easy. It's easy. All right. Yeah. You want to hit up a quote there, Bri guy? You're just so eager to get out of the awkwardness.
I am so eager. Just want to
Brian's
get my way out of it.
my stomach hurts from the awkwardness.
I'm back to stomach pains. Oh.
You're the king of awkward, bro.
I know. I should be able to
just
sit
enjoy
in
it.
Should be able to sit in it.
All right. Fine. Go.
Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers.
Voltaire.
Yeah, thanks for taking that.
Voltaire. Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers. Yeah. Yes. Be curious. That's what I'm saying. Be curious. That's why I put that on there. It's like the answer is me judging you. Me knowing the answer. That's the thing that drives me the most nuts about people is when they think they know.
Yep.
And it's like, the only thing I know for sure is that I don't know. That's it.
Yep.
Right? And so to expect that I don't know and to expect that others don't know is then a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, if the sound goes out in the headphones, let's just say, I would expect that maybe you don't know that we're not live because I turned off the volume, but I didn't switch us to live yet. So then I might be like, I expect you probably don't know. Joey's gonna let's go back to murder because Joey's gonna murder this guy right
now. No, I'm so okay, cool. I get it.
Do you? Because I'm talking about when the sound goes out in the headphones.
Yeah, no, got it.
That it sounds like we're live, but we won't know. So then we think we're live, and then you're like, we're live. But then by the time you say we're live, we already thought we were live for like 4 or 5 seconds.
My abs hurt.
No, I thought the same
Cut to
thing
Brian's abs because
yesterday.
they hurt.
when
This is
I
a good
was
workout for
trying
Brian.
to-
This is a really good workout. I messed Brian up so bad in the hospital. Joey, I know you want to fight me. I'm not going to let you.
But you're picking the fight, dude.
I'm not picking the fight. I'm trying to focus on Joey.
No,
I'm
you're
Brian's
not.
laughing right now.
You're literally...
Dude, I'm not fighting with
Yes,
you,
you
bro.
are.
I am not. How is this a fight?
You're picking a fight.
It's not dude.
Choose
really? Do you think I'm fighting with you?
Yeah.
Then you're not listening to intention, bro. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of the show and have you actually listen, because I'm not picking a fight. My intentions are love, bro. So if you feel attacked, I'm sorry. I'll say I'm sorry. But you need to listen because I'm not attacking you. And we just went from Brian's laughter, trying to cut to his abs, to now awkward dead air energy. Feel it?
Yeah.
Cut to you.
I felt it
Cut to
all
you.
show.
Cut to you. Let me see your eyes.
I felt it all show.
Ooh, I didn't.
I also did not feel it. But we're choosing to make a difference during this section, friends.
Shall we fight through this thing? No. I mean, we're live on the air. No, you don't want to fight through it? You just want to ignore it?
Not live.
All right, then we'll move on then. Okay, so Walt Whitman says the same thing that I say. His quote is, "Be curious, not judgmental." Be curious. I won't give an example about curiosity. That would be a mistake. Okay. Moving on. This is an anonymous quote, which I just sort of fell in love with here. "Once you awaken, you will have no interest in judging those who sleep." And we were talking about the Great Awakening. We're talking about this idea. Madison was talking about this, her spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
As you start to wake up, you don't have time to judge others anymore.
Yeah.
And so rather than judging, you just want to help. You just want to reach back and help the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel so good.
Yeah.
You feel good, and you know, it's like Paul talked about in our Divine Roots podcast, the idea of being in this like soup of the world that just like kind of bogs you down, and then and you imagine that you're just a little pea in the soup, and you jump out of the soup, and then you see everybody else in there, and you're like, oh dang, I used to be in that soup. I don't judge you for being in the soup, but like, I hope you find your way out.
Yeah.
Because it's so much better over here, so much more peaceful over here when I'm not focusing on the underword.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna read this again.
That's a callback.
I really liked it. So, once you awaken, you will have no interest in judging those who sleep. I mean, because it did really hit me. I mean, like this. Because the first, also, once you start like awakening to even some of the like good, right, that you start to do, you immediately want to keep pulling people up with you right away, right? And even sometimes like help, and it says choose to make a difference, which is important, right? But even coming out of the hospital, this was something I had to hit for me, was I immediately wanted to just like get back to like helping, and not realize I need to like work on me and continue to help me first. Right.
So, and this, that actually concept is interesting. That really should be its own episode. But I've preached this to you from the beginning, which was like, don't teach what you haven't already been in practice doing for a very long time, right? So though you have the capability of helping, you needed to be strong first in this particular area in order to be able to reach out and absorb the kind of like release that somebody's going to be giving to you, right? And so if you're not fully healed, if you're not fully healthy and strong, how can you receive that?
Yeah.
You know, without it damaging you.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt that.
And you've been getting stronger, like crazy stronger.
Absolutely. 100%.
A lot of it's the ab laughing workouts.
A lot of those are what it is. Yeah. I actually canceled my gym membership, and I just
call me in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I did this actually. I was going to mention this earlier. So when Brian was in the hospital, he literally had to hang up the phone with me because I remember what it was. You had a cough or something, But basically, I kept making you laugh because I was like, that was my therapy for you. That was my tithing. Was like, I'm gonna call Brian and just be. I'm not gonna ask him about sadness. I'm not gonna ask him about this or that. I'm just gonna make him laugh. And you're like, dude, I can't. Like, it hurts when I laugh.
Yeah. Oh,
and you're
man.
like dying on the line as you hang up. It's hilarious. All right. So then. This is a good one too for us all to reflect on really quick before I give you the absolute takeaway, which is when I'm judging, when I'm feeling, when I feel a certain way, it's usually a reflection of my own stuff, my own insecurities, like what I've got going on. So as soon as I want to, like, go back to, as soon as I want to cast the first stone, as soon as I want to be, mad at you for whatever thing, I got to go, why am I, where's the reaction coming from? There's something in me that's actually like causing it. So just being aware that the judgment in others is often a reflection of our own insecurities. And that's a really good time to stop, go inward, and then see what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So that's the first takeaway. I mentioned this. I wrote this down. I liked this. It said, if someone isn't seeing the light, find out if you can help them find a light switch.
Yeah. I remember you saying that the other day. That was cool.
And I think if I'm honest, I thought Joey was playing with us and he got mad. So sorry, Joey. But the truth is, if I call myself out on this again for the second time in the show, if Joey's seriously upset, cool, then I'm sorry. I really am. And it's like, if he can't see it, then I don't need to kick him in the dark. I need to flip on the switch and try to help him see it. So we'll flip on the switch. Wasn't coming at you. Hopefully you see that. If not, then we'll work on it after the show. So here's your big takeaway. The very big last takeaway here for this judgment episode, which is making a difference. I'm going to ask everybody who's listening to be a soldier for good. In this battle that we're in, we need soldiers that are willing to do good, willing to be good, willing to speak good, willing to listen, willing to have a conversation. Right now, there's a need that we stand up for injustice. We stand up, and while we're doing this, we remain curious, we remain open, and we avoid being judgmental at all costs. You can be a soldier for good, and we often think something like one vote doesn't matter, or I'm just one person, and I'll admit, I feel this way sometimes. I feel small in this big world. I feel like that little pea. But if I take that perspective on, I'm a little pea, so there's nothing I can do, and then I just don't do anything, well, like one little pea is not powerful, but like an army of people who are all doing good, it does make a difference. It will cause a movement. And so you can just choose to be part of the movement of good, the movement of curiosity, the movement of listening. So the big takeaway today is be a soldier for good.
Love that.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. This has been the Mornings with Matt show. Appreciate you tuning in. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chippy day, everyone. Rough.